Hey guys, we are coming to you live from the Extreme office. The reason for that is we have another Spider-Man piece, which is obviously going to go with my Spider-Man and Venom collection right behind me. This is a custom, life-size Spider-Man Symbiote Bust. That's right. That's right. They took Peter Parker when he had the black symbiote suit on him. They chopped off his arms and they put him on a pedestal, and here he is in the collection. I bet he didn't like that. I actually used to own the Queen Studios Iron Spider Bust right here. And I decided a while back, no more Marvel superheroes, only Marvel villains when it comes to busts. But this custom studio, I have quite a bit on order. I actually have a custom Hulk that's coming pretty soon. And they reached out to me and they said, do you want to get on board with one of these? And I was kind of on the fence, but I thought, you know what? It would look really good with my Venom collection behind me. In fact, it would look really good next to Sideshow's life-size Venom bust, and that's where I plan to put him. And something that's incredible about this piece is there is something so crazy, so unique, I cannot wait to talk to you guys about it. As a thank you to you guys, we're giving away these two exclusive Mortal Kombat statues from Pop Culture Shock Toys. We've already given away this Sub-Zero. It's being shipped to the winner of the 15,000 sub giveaway. Up for grabs at 17,500 subs is this exclusive Scorpion statue. First thing you need to do is make sure you've liked this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification. Second thing is, we are going to pick random videos. This is one of those random videos, and insert this segment somewhere. You need to make sure you comment on that video. We are going to pick a random comment from one of said videos, and you will be the winner of this Scorpion statue. All right, so as we do this bust review, we're still going to follow the normal format. So obviously, it'll flow a little bit differently than it would if we had a character who had arms and legs, actually switch out options, where this, what you see is what you get. But we're going to start with concept on this piece, and this is where it's really incredible. Now, first I want to go over the basic parts of it, and then I'll tell you what's really incredible. But you have a standard museum-style base with some symbiote aspects going on. What I like about this is they varied up the color. We'll talk more about that in paint and sculpt, but instead of solid black, it's gray, but it still kind of looks like it's black. They have the Spider-Man logo in the front. You guys know I hate nameplates, but this is more of a museum piece, so I do understand why they did that. The top of the base here is really clean. Again, makes it look very museum quality. And on the front of Spider-Man, you see his spider symbol with the symbiote twist. It is protruded. You see the front of him here. Obviously, like I said, he has no arms. The symbiote suit, I love the texture work they did on this. This really makes it look more like a living creature than it actually does a suit, which is really exciting. Now, the really unique thing they did, you actually can't see. It's on the sides and the back, and we're going to take a look at that in a second. But very stoic face. Obviously, you can't see much of an expression beneath the suit anyway, or the alien, or whatever you want to call it. But I like it. He looks badass. He looks kind of evil. And let's face it, when he got the black suit on, he was pretty big badass. All right, so what's really crazy about this, you guys know when I talk about busts, I hate when busts just cut off and there's nothing going on in the back or on the sides. Now, while the case here is it does cut off, there's actually a ton of crazy stuff going on. Look at this right here. This is just a quick snapshot. These are different scenes from the comics sculpted into the piece. How cool is that? Yet it's still all black, so it's like the suit. He has kind of this segmented aspect of the symbiote suit separating each comic strip. This is unbelievable. I didn't even know this had this till it unboxed it. And just being very transparent with you guys, I was excited as I always was, but wow, what a cool piece. This is why I hate to look at in-progress pictures. This is why I hate to watch other video reviews before I get a piece. The feeling that I have now, how exciting it is. They put other comic strips throughout this. This is freaking believable. So they took a bust, they made it look really good, they made it look really nice, and then they did something somebody has never done before to my knowledge. For that reason alone, I think this concept is a 5 out of 5. Really impressed. The only disadvantage though, and this is more of a design thing, which we'll start talking about right now, is it's on the back. So where I'm gonna have them displayed, the back's gonna be facing the wall. And with the other design things, because it is just a bust, there's not really a lot to, but let's look at the unboxing and assembly because it was pretty complex, believe it or not. It was a pretty large box and the shipping prices were pretty outrageous, we'll talk about. It was a very detailed art box on every single side, which is pretty cool. Standard custom black foam with the straps. And it had 2 layers. The bust itself isn't very heavy at all. However, the base does carry a tremendous amount of weight there in the second layer. All right, so let's get some measurements for you guys really quick. Now, the base itself, we'll measure that first, is about 14 inches deep, 13 inches wide, kind of an illusion. Looks a lot deeper than it is wide. The tallest point is right at about 25 inches or so. Now, I do have what I would call a few quality problems. So it's more on the paint and sculpt, but let's just take a look. Right here on his face, it looks like some of the paint was kind of faded or chipped off during shipping. Clearly, it probably didn't leave the factory like that. And then you also see it down here by the Spidey symbol. I mean, hell, this could even be mold growing on it. One thing I did notice, the key that you put in was actually really moist. Why do people not like that word, moist? So simple, yet I think this is imposing. I really am digging this piece. I didn't expect that I would. And one of the things you're going to see that they did in the design, kind of like some the Easter eggs down here, above the Spider-Man symbol, I don't know if you can see it right here, zoom in, it actually has symbiote kind of etched into the design. How cool is that? Again, I think that's more of a concept of this piece, but it's just another reason the concept is so great. So design, it's not perfect by any means. It's not extraordinarily complex. So I think it's a 3 out of 5 on the design. But now we'll dive into the paint and sculpt, and the lighting probably won't even be the best for it, but I'll do a video so you guys can look at some of these comic strips, get some of the close-ups like down here if that didn't show too well, and just see the texture and some of the stuff going on with the suit. All right, so because there's not too much going on, this probably won't take very long.
Hey, that's what she said.
But at this base, so first of all, here is where they carved in that symbiote. I think that looks fantastic. I didn't even notice it first because I was just worried about getting this on the review table. While I'm not a fan of nameplates, this is very clean, looks great. And like I said, they kind of did a symbiote type texture here, which I love. And I love the fact that it is a dark color, but it's kind of a brighter gray, especially depending on the lighting and how it contrasts next to the statue you see here. And then the top has that clean part. I wish I would have done something with this right here. This triangle, obviously for stability. They could have even put more of the comic strips. Speaking of which, let's take a close look at these now. So while it's really hard to tell on camera, in person you can kind of see even the words. I don't know if these are, some of these may just be the covers. That one's pretty easy to see. How cool is that? I think one disadvantage is unless you have lighting facing straight up on this, you're not gonna be able to see these as well because it's black. Makes me really curious about some of the other variants we're gonna look at during value. Pretty cool. And then the way they separated each of the strips or each of the pictorials here by the symbiote suit is pretty neat as well. And speaking of the symbiote suit, I love this texture on it. I think this is true what a symbiote should be. They did a great job. Kind of this cracked old skin almost that it looks like. It doesn't have the tendrils all over like a Venom piece does where he's moving around. While there's not a ton of anatomy, I like how they did this. You know, Spider-Man to me is not an overly bulk guy, but he's very fit, very athletic, and I think they nailed that as well. Here's the protruding spider emblem. So it's protruding quite a bit, but look how clean the paint lines are between the white and the black. Now here's some more of that white stuff growing on there. Again, it doesn't look like the black paint is faded off. It looks like this is something growing on there. And you even see a little bit on the eye here. So a little bit of this needs to be cleaned up. Maybe some moisture got inside of the packing. I didn't see any of the wonderful candies they usually put with it. You know, the little candies in the white bag that say do not eat. No blue shading in the eyes or anything, which you typically see with Venom. Sometimes you'll see it with the Spider-Man symbiote. His nose, you don't see any mouth, which you typically don't. Really well done though. I mean, this is very impressive, both the paint and the sculpt minus the defects of whatever that is spread all over right here. So during that, I actually rubbed one out. Rubbed some of this off, some of this white stuff. It did start rubbing off. I think it might be mold that started growing. And that could be due to the temperature changes. Obviously, this came from China. Yeah, it does rub off. So that's a good thing. All of this will be removed. Because as you saw during the video, there actually is more of it. Well, let's start with the paint. I really like this. Like I said, it's not overpowering too dark, which you would think it would be. So I think they did a great job contrasting some of the dark colors to some of the darker colors. The paint's really clean between the white, so I give them a lot of props on that. I think the paint's a 4 out of 5 on this piece. Really well done. The sculpt, this is by a sculptor who, until recently, I didn't really know who he was. He actually did the Banshee piece from this group and quite a few other ones that I have on order from other groups. I think it looks great. To me, this is the perfect Spider-Man symbiote. I love what they did with all the comic strips. I think the base looks fantastic. I think it's a 5 out of 5 on the sculpt. I am surprised at how much I am really digging this piece, especially because it does command a decent price tag. So initially you're thinking, well, how much does this run? And that's where we'll talk about the value today. Initial price on this is $1,000, which isn't bad for a bust at all. That's kind of the going rate. However, because it's a custom, which is a private unlicensed commission, it's shipped from overseas. Shipping, express shipping, was over $600 on this. That's right. The only thing that makes me feel better is the edition size on this was only 35. However, they did make a number of variants that all priced right around the same. Right here is a picture of kind of this one with the retro Spider-Man. And then you have some traditional Spider-Mans. This is the only one I would want though, because it's really the only one that goes with my collection. So I think the value is okay. I think I could definitely get my money back, mainly because of what they did with this. This is incredible. So I think I could get my money back. So I think it's a 3 out of 5 on the value for this piece, because shipping really killed the value. Now, does this statue have the X factor? Well, if I'm looking at it like this, it's like, man, that's cool. If I look at the back, wow, that's amazing. However, I'm never going to be able to see it all unless I put it in the middle of this table and always kept it here, which I will not. So I think it's a 4 out of 5. The concept alone is brilliant. I give them so many props for that. It's such a cool piece. Those Easter eggs, stuff going on there. It looks clean. It's fantastic representation. I am really impressed with this piece. So happy to have him in my collection. I was actually kind of on the fence. Like I said, I don't look at work in progress photos, so it's like if he comes in and I don't like him, I'll put him up for sale. I'm definitely keeping him. So throw in the comments something that just blew you away on a statue, kind of like this is blowing me away. Not like the way the Gal Gadot life-size bust might blow someone away. But thanks for tuning in, guys. If you like stuff like this, custom statues, now while I can't tell you where to get them, you can see a whole bunch of information by hitting that Mr. X logo and hitting that bell notification and checking out some of these other playlists. Until tomorrow, take care.